Hello, everyone. It's great to be part of the session. I'm Andreea, and I currently lead the CX team for Kantar in Romania, overseeing voice of the customer research and programs, as well as consulting with businesses on how to reach their full potential and maturity for customer centricity. Last year marked the 21st anniversary of Quine and Gilmore's first ever piece welcoming us to the experience economy. And to celebrate, let's say, this coming of age based on its country of origin, they also launched in December an updated version of their book, The Experience Economy, Competing for Customer Time, Attention, and Money, which I highly recommend. Now, even though quite some time has passed since we started talking about it, CX maturity level-wise, most global brands and companies still linger in their infancy, or at most slightly confusing teenage years. Pulling together figures from CX maturity assessments that Kantar delivers across the globe, we see that 50% of businesses worldwide are still building awareness and understanding around CX topics, still in this first established framework phase. Next, 30% of them are in a development stage, defining structures, engaging stakeholders. They're building the right structure, both in terms of data-driven and customer-driven action planning. With more momentum in place, 15% have reached the validation phase, working to prioritize and target initiatives based on the link they have created between the experience provided and its value. Leaders in CX maturity, where we might find Disney, Starbucks, Amazon, or Airbnb, make up only 5%, and their job is still not done. They work around the clock to sustain engagement of their employees, optimize processes, and maintain customer happiness. In what follows, I'll briefly explore top 3 challenges and solutions for the first stages, hoping you might find them useful as you navigate along your and your company's own CX journey. One of my favorite exercises to do at the beginning of sessions that are meant to guide companies in the established phase is, what type of diagram would brand experience, customer experience, and user experience fit into? Now, I have to admit I'm curious what the other panelists would say about the user experience part of things, and definitely how human experience fits as well. But for the most part during these exercises, we tend to agree on the bottom diagram. The vision for customer experience is supposed to be aligned to brand experience. The two can no longer sit in organizational silos, as you keep hearing. The brands delivering the most successful experiences are those where the experience of the brand truly lives up to or even exceeds the promise of the brand. But not all companies manage to close the gap between them, and this is where the main challenge at this stage lies. The solution for it? Having the right framework for your CX vision should be underpinned by your brand promise. Those businesses that do not succeed to move beyond this first stage usually disappoint their customers by overpromising and under-delivering. Next time you have a team meeting, regardless who takes part, I'm going to ask you to try this. Ask your colleagues what your company CX promise is. What experience are you trying to stage for your clients, and see where the question takes you. Along this line, and as you move further along into the development phase, there are 2 aspects of your company that become critical. The first is ensuring the right culture, and the second is overcoming silo mentality. A company not only has to deliver on its brand promise to the customer, but also has to deliver to the promise it makes as an employer, or its employer value proposition. There's a lot of discourse about savvy consumers where expectations are increasing exponentially, but only second thought spared to the fact that the same is happening to them as employees. Attracting and retaining employees is becoming harder. Loyalty for a brand is taking a plunge for both consumers and employees. Businesses are faced with a high willingness to change jobs more often, and high expectations related to what's in it for me, which does not only mean salary, but also working environment, learning, and development opportunities. And it's an open talent market today. Job portals make it easy to search for job opportunities across boundaries. The next better job opportunity is just a mouse click away. Now, doesn't this ring a bell to what we were saying about consumer choices? Only now it's applied to employees. And you really have to map your employees' journey as well if you are to succeed in them delivering for your customers' journey. The second aspect at this stage is a still disjointed strategy when it comes to brand, customers, and employees. Often the responsibility for each lies in separate departments, brand, marketing, and HR. And here is where a lot of businesses fail to grow in maturity, simply because considering the successful trifecta you see on the screen, they don't engage, empower, or enable their internal stakeholders as they should. Do your brand and CX managers sit in on the same meetings? Is your frontline and back office invited to customer insights activation workshops? Are you sufficiently democratizing and sharing data within the company? Is employee experience only an HR focus? The answers to these questions will tell you how far along you are in CX maturity. Now, to give you some examples of why focusing on employees and linking employees and customers matters in the great CX scheme of things, one of the larger hospitality chains worldwide wanted to link employee engagement to customer loyalty measures in order to manage the customer experience more systematically and accelerate their growth. We helped our partner develop a scorecard in their performance management system to demonstrate the business impact of higher engagement on customer loyalty. We identified the drivers of employee engagement and where investment would have most impact in securing customer loyalty. A major issue was the lack of service orientation of frontline staff, the missing customer-centric behavior that so many companies have. Developing a program for this, mainly based on better communicating the company's culture and values, increased employee engagement and customer satisfaction with more than 15 index points, leading to a significant increase in repeat visits over a period of 3 years. As a second example, a European do-it-yourself retailer with 90 outlets wanted to grow through higher spend per customer visit. It was vital to understand employee commitment and engagement in the sales process. Linking return of investment to the organizational strengths, we identified two priority areas: customer empathy and creating a more diverse workforce to reflect the company's client base. The company was refocused around customers through rethinking their hiring practices and customer orientation workshops. This was done especially in stores with low satisfaction. Employees were motivated through improved internal communication and training. Sales rose by 2% per visit in those stores where employee engagement increased. A brand promise that is clearly articulated and understood by customers alongside empowered employees, and by this I mean employees that behave with empathy, have autonomy to implement solutions on the spot, are the first steps, or pillars, if you will, towards achieving genuine customer centricity. This endeavor that only 5% of global businesses have achieved so far would further require the following: making sure your customers are empowered as well and can do it their way through frictionless omnichannel excellence. Lasting memories, mostly positive emotional moments that you generate and deliver, but also sufficient delighters at the right times throughout the customer journey. And last but not least, exceptional delivery at the operational level across all touch points to reinforce the brand choice every time. For example, starting with the brand promise pillar above and moving clockwise, you all know Nike's slogan and brand promise: just do it. But how does that translate to a Nike store experience? Is the employee engaged enough to make his own quick decisions when I have a difficult product return? Am I able to contact customer service through the channel of my choice and get a similarly quick reply on any of them? What part of my Nike experience sticks in my mind? And is it one that does justice to the brand when I talk about it to friends or coworkers? When I order online or buy in store, does it take forever to deliver or queue instead of just do it, of just buying it? The main challenge in this validation phase is that the holistic view, which truly allows you to prioritize initiatives and prove results if used in a data-driven way, this holistic approach for your CX program takes time and long-term planning for successful organizational transformation. You actually have to allow your company this time if you are to be guaranteed loyalty, advocacy, and greater customer lifetime value from here onwards. A lot of the budgets, as we know it, still go to client acquisition rather than retention. But keep in mind that CX leaders who started earlier on their path to CX maturity were able to prove a higher return of investment for retention, boosting market share and revenues. Accenture's strategy found that companies who get CX right have a 70% higher customer loyalty and 11% higher revenues. In CX Plus, a Kantar-funded research of customer experience excellence, we found that customers of CX best performing brands are actually 10 times more likely to recommend their brand, so 10 times, and 2 times more likely to have a stronger preference for their brand than others. Now, reaching the end of my intervention today, if you see this picture and think of inner and outer loops that you're trying to close, you are definitely a CX professional, and actually a rather mature one at that. If you see it and think of roller coasters, you are fine too. I think each one of you listening, and myself included, realize that the nice curve shown at the beginning is not how real life CX transformations look like. You're more likely to go on a roller coaster ride. You'll have ups and downs, both slow climbs and high speed or even upside down moments. But be ready to embark on the ride again and again and again. What those 5% CX leaders do is continuously listening and optimization, fixing inner and outer loops, designing new experiences to stay on top. I, for one, wish you an enjoyable ride. Please make friends with everyone riding along with you, employees, customers, CX consultants, and research partners. And I hope to see you soon growing in CX maturity. Thank you, and now I look forward to your questions.